Remember, written by Brother Jim Scrow, narrated by Brother Jerry Morley. The following blog is a little more personal this time around. In 1974, I was 14 years old, and going to church was one of my favorite things to do. And you could go to church every day of the week in those days, one way or another. Monday, typically a ladies' circle meeting. Tuesday, a weekly evening meeting held in the Freehold branch. Wednesday, typical midweek evening meeting in almost any branch or mission. Thursday, the Thursday nighters in the Edison branch. Friday, some branches still had Friday evening meeting. Saturday, a young people's meeting in the New Brunswick branch. Sunday, typical church meeting, including morning preaching, lunch at someone's house, and afternoon testimony and communion. And Sunday night, MBA in a different branch each week. Then there was General Church Conference, GMBA Conference, GMBA Campout, and any number of area MBA campouts. I wasn't able to drive at that point, but I could ask any number of brothers or sisters for a ride, such as my Uncle Vince, Sister Palma, or my real-life sister, Rose. My parents would find me a way to get to church or bring me there themselves. I will not say I made all those meetings, but a high percentage would be a fair assessment. I had not yet given my life to Jesus until the following happened. You know the baseball song, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"? At the end of the song, the lyric is, "And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game." I was sitting in the back of the New Brunswick branch during a Wednesday night service when the Spirit of God called me. I refused, ran out of the building, got home, and locked myself in my bedroom, afraid to talk to anyone. Strike one. I was singing with the young people at GMBA conference in the front of the auditorium, and God's Spirit called me again. I couldn't run, but I still said no. Strike two. That Sunday night of GMBA conference, we got back home to New Jersey, and all the young people went to Brother Augie and Sister Betty DeRazio's home. We were in the living room singing together, and God's Spirit came into the room once again. A vision was had, silver raindrops falling on us, and I felt God's call again. Strike three? Not this time. This time, I went up to Brother Augie with tears in my eyes and proclaimed that I wanted to be baptized. Brother Augie was happy, but he wanted me to go home and tell my father my desire. As I got home that night, a little afraid and excited, I opened the door to the front of the house very slowly, knowing my parents were in the back of the house and, I thought, sleeping. I was afraid to wake them up. As I opened the door, I could hear my father's voice say, "You asked for your baptism tonight, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, I did." God had told him what happened, and he was as happy as he could be. One problem, I was in a cast from the tip of my fingers up to my shoulder. I had to wait a couple of months, but my baptism did happen. Why remember? This past week, a few of us had the opportunity to visit with Sister Betty DeRazio in her home, and I stood in the exact place in her living room where I gave my life to Jesus. That was 50 years ago this past May, and I rejoice in it. I encourage you to remember the day of your baptism, the day you met Jesus. Did you struggle? Was it easy? Detail it in your mind, and then answer the following 3 questions. Number 1, who baptized you? For me, it was Brother Salvador Scrow, my father. Number 2, who laid hands on your head for the reception of the Holy Ghost? For me, Brother Carmen Scrow, my uncle. And number 3, was it worth it? Yes, and I am forever grateful for all those car rides and all those meetings held and attended by all my church family. If you would like, please leave a comment or email me at james.scro, S-G-R-O, at thechurchofjesuschrist.org with your answers to these 3 questions. It would be nice to hear from you. God bless you all. Brother Jim Scro.